after literally struggling with the lighting for a good minute there. We finally have some progress. Hi everyone, my name is Amirah Redwing, and I honestly am a yapper. I like to talk. And talking not only helps me articulate my own thoughts and feelings and process them and understand them, but I think I have a gift. And I think that gift, I'm being convicted to share it. I think the only way to succeed in life is to be who you are. This is who I am. Like it or don't like it, I want to be free. And I think that God gave me this gift. I think my ancestors gave me this gift. And I think it would be a waste for me to not share it and explore it deeply for myself and for possibly the sake of other people. So I'm just going to start a series where I talk. And it could be about a range of things. I do this in my day-to-day, truly. I sit, I talk to myself, I have conversations with myself about things that I'm thinking about, but sometimes it shows up on paper, sometimes it's just me in the bathroom mirror, but I really want to share my thought processes and keep a virtual diary because I'm growing older and I want something for myself to reflect on, to see how my perceptions change and if they change. And I think this is a good start. So today, obviously when I'm talking, I sort of have like an outline in mind of things that I want to talk about. Today's conversation, I want to be about aging and me just exploring that concept with myself. And the reason we're touching upon aging right now is because I'm 19, but I'm turning 20 in a couple of days. And it's daunting to say the least because turning 20 represents for me the end of an era. I'm no longer a teenager. I'm no longer a child. I am now in a space where my life is more defined than what's next, than what came before, I think. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but that's how it feels. I'm not looking at a script when I talk right now. I'm just thinking out loud, and I want to continue to do that. And I hope that it sounds coherent because my goal is to engage with myself in a way that I continue to practice and work my mind at being articulate. The possibilities seem endless, but not. And I think of the bell jar and Sylvia Plath and this idea of like the fig tree.
I saw my life branching out before me like the green fig tree in the story. From the tip of every branch, a wonderful future beckoned and winked.
Because in one regard, the world is definitely my oyster, but at the same time, the possibilities that we have, that we imagine when we're children, are slowly but surely just dropping and dropping and dropping from a tree. And it's no longer this endless array of possibilities. It's now like find your lane and stick to it. And that could just be capitalist society trying to define people into a category. I'm not sure. That's what we're going to touch upon and sort of think through. But I really do feel as though this idea of me having to pick a lane and be in it for the rest of my life is what is the most daunting thing about aging. But also, while we are in this lane, we're so focused on trying to revisit, trying to still be youthful. And that too, I think, is a product of capitalism, and we're going to explore that as well. So let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. I think each year that I've grown older, I felt almost stuck in the year before. And not in a sense that I haven't done any growth as a person, but in the sense that COVID really messed me up. Like, COVID really messed me up. Often I sit and think, like, am I still 13? And at 19, I feel more connected and authentic to my 13-year-old self than I did at 13 or even 14 or even 15. I think the person I am right now is the person that I was trying to be when I was 13. And that's a really interesting concept because I still have that childlike wonder and that weirdness to me about certain things. I'm just more perceptive, honest, with myself about that fact that that is who I am. And I feel like it's no longer masked. I just am this way, and I've accepted that, and I try to live in that authenticity. I really am scared, though, to get older because I feel like I have so much to do and not enough time. And I think that a lot of people my age feel that way. And I wish we were more open about that conversation. I know that older people say in life that you don't have to have it all figured out and that you will end up where you should be or where God wants you to be. But truthfully, there's a calendar that I've set for myself, and I have so much anxiety about not adhering to my own deadlines. And I know that that's not how life works. And I know from a biblical standpoint that I have to leave my anxieties with God and leave faith in my purpose and my path with God, right? But I just can't help but still feel that way. And I think the reason I feel that way is because it is manufactured by society. We need to feel youthful in order to continue to be productive, in order to continue to be proactive about our productivity. Instead of just living life as we are, taking things one step at a time, we live in a society that prioritizes everything else over rest. And because we can't rest, we can't sit and think and feel. And that's why I'm, sitting in this space with myself and talking, because it allows me to think about what it is I'm doing with my life, with my purpose, with intentionality. And I hope I'm not just saying words as fluff. I hope that they're resonating because, well, for me, they are. And everyone has different operational definitions for things in life, but time is one we're all fighting. Because time is relative, and it's relative to you, but the world is turning. And every birthday shows me that, especially having a birthday so close to New Year's, which is like the operational definition calendar of the year. Everyone is like on January 1st, New Year. New me though, because my birthday is literally January 3rd. So the clock switches twice. And I just feel this doubled down sense of doom that, like, what's next? What's next? You're another year. And it's like, what is the purpose? Because at the end of the day is going to end. And when people say that, they mean it. At the end of the day, for all of us, the day is going to end. So what am I doing? What do I want to do with 20? What do I want to do in my 20s? I'm entering not only a new year, but a new decade. I've been here for 2 decades. And God willing, I have a lot more to go. But I feel like it's going by so fast and nobody warns you. I mean, no, they do warn you actually. Like my mom will tell me, don't rush to grow up. They tell you, don't rush to grow up. And I'm here. I'm here. I'm here in the days that I prayed for. But also, why was I praying for those days in the past to end instead of living in the present? I really want to live in the present during my 20s. I think that's my biggest thing. Because I don't want to forget anything. And I also don't want to have lived so much in the past that I can't appreciate what's before me. I want to make good memories and I want to explore myself in a different capacity. And when I talk about exploring myself, I think I know myself. I think I know myself as a person. But I feel like as you get older, there's more to know. There's something to be said about the way developmental psychology works. And I really like that, in AP Psych, that was the one space that I really liked because, you talk about attachment styles and but in developmental psychology, you talk about too how a baby has the most neurological connections that we will have typically within a lifespan. And that you lose some of those connections as you grow through the phases of adolescence, but that you can rebuild them through life experiences. And it's interesting because you mean to tell me that when I was 2, I'm smarter than I am now, but I just didn't have the verbiage or the language or the motor skills to live in that existence. But now I'm gaining those experiences. And hopefully the synapses are connecting, because I want to be this well-rounded person, and I want to be the person that I am, but that other people connect to as well. I think when your brain is connected with itself, you can connect with other people. I want to travel in my 20s. I want to meet new people. I always say this, but like, if I had one goal in life, it would truly be to develop intimacy with everyone. And I don't mean that in a sexual way, obviously. I just need to clarify that. I mean, like, to be able to sit down and have a conversation with any and everyone, and to hear their life story and to understand them, not to psychoanalyze them or to judge them, but to just sit with the array of existences that are in life and that surround me. And I think this is best represented by the word sonder. You know, people think about sonder, but I really, when I discovered that word, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I've been feeling about what my purpose is. And this is why I sit in yap, because truly, like, I think I'm supposed to talk to people. I think I am a conversationalist, though I do have social anxiety, because I always feel like, do I look crazy for being this excited about stuff that might be so mundane? I don't know. I hope not. But I genuinely sit and smile when I think about a lot of things and when I talk to myself about different concepts. I think it's because I was always a kid who asked why. And my dad, you know, who will say, my mom too, will say that I was really rebellious. And I'm not gonna lie, I probably was an angry teenager. But I think the reason I was such an angry teenager, and as my teenagers are coming to an end, I'm starting to realize this more and more, is because I didn't have the verbiage or the space or the confidence to communicate or to express myself as I was. And now that I sit in solace more and more, and as I move away from home and enter my collegiate journey and meet new people and all these things, I'm like, girl, you are who you are, and some people see you as a light. And if you're convicted to be that light, be that light. And I don't mean that metaphor. I mean, I do mean that metaphorically, of course. But yeah, as you grow older, you begin to have the tools and the resources to be more and more of who you are. And that's the goal, right? The reason I read is to discover who I am through literature, the concept of literature being windows and mirrors. Oh, when I discovered that in high school, I was so entranced, because I'm just like, this encapsulates perfectly how I feel about literature. I think that's why I'm keeping these journals, these video diaries for myself, so that I have something to reflect on, and that also so I have something to work towards. I am really scared to get old. I think part of it is I don't want to miss the mark on anything. I know that the calendar I have in my head is arbitrary, but it's daunting, to say the least. And I'm accepting that more and more. You know, we talk about comparison being the thief of joy. I don't want to compare my journey to anyone else's in my 20s. But that's so easy to do. You know, we live in a digital age where you can see everyone. But another thing, I realized as much of a conversationalist as I am, I genuinely feel like I form parasocial relationships. And it's because I have this yearning to know that other people might not have, number one. And number two, obviously the component of social media. But number three, I really do perceive myself often to be closer to other people than I am. And I realized that. Like I be thinking like me and someone are like, oh, like we cool, like, but it's like we're not that. But honestly, I hope that's how people feel with me. Like I hope people look at me and they talk to me one time and we like sit and just have like a we just flow state with a conversation and they're like, oh, like because that's how I want people to gravitate towards me. Like, yes, we had this conversation, and if I sat and took the time out of my day to converse with you, you in my perception are now you now have access, or you are now accessible to my community. So long as like I'm discerning that your intentions are pure, you have access, and please continue to access it, because that's how we build community. Oh my God, we need to talk to one another. We need to talk to one another more and more. And this is why I sit and talk, because truly the only way to build upon the language that we've created is to share it. Is to share it. And people aren't sharing their thoughts anymore. Why? Share what you're thinking so that I can think it too. So that I can show you what I'm thinking. So that we can process together, because this life is hard. This life is hard, and I'm so privileged, but also there's things and obstacles that I'm encountering that make me sit and think, wow, this life is hard, and we need each other to do it. And I was thinking about the Tracy Ellis Ross podcast, the episode that I watched. And in the episode, she's talking about her solo travel diary that she's starting. And how in life, you just need to go and you just need to rely on other people. And I don't think she was saying this stuff to say when you solo travel, don't meet people and don't connect with people and don't put yourself out there. I don't think that's the direction she was going. But I do think that there is something to say about the way we are accepting of this culture where you just have to be individualistic in order to become and to feel whole. And I feel like that's what they want. And by they, I mean the constraints of capitalist society and those who are major actors in it. That's what they want. For you to feel like, take the solo trip instead of put in the effort to have a community gathering. Except that this person might not be on the same wavelength about travel as you, and go instead of showing and talking to them about the brilliance of the experiences that come from doing what you're doing. And I see this in more ways than one. In college, and especially in my HBCU, I've noticed that people are really good, and I've said this to other people before, they're really good at giving you a direction, the direction, but less good at giving you a map. And I think the reason we don't give each other a map is because we feel, one, in part, maybe we've internalized this concept of having to struggle to find. But I don't think we should have to struggle to find. If I have the map, I'm going to give it to you. And if I don't have the map, I'm at least going to be honest with you that I'm still on the path of the direction I've just given you. Is that making sense? Is any of it making sense? I hope so. That's all I can do is hope. But I don't know. I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I definitely love to read because writers or people who write books, they have thought about something for a long enough time to be developed. They're further along in the path than I am. Not all writers have the map, but a lot of them have gotten far enough along that path that they're willing to leave a trail, write about what they experienced along the way. Why would I not read? I want to be where they're at. So let me expedite the process by sitting with their journey. That's where I think my 20s is going to matter. Because a lot of the things I'm experiencing now, and I've had a lot of firsts this year in 2025, a lot of the things I'm experiencing now are representative of something I've encountered before. And when I realize it, I realize it. But I need to stop missing it because oftentimes I do. But nothing's new. Nothing's new. You've seen this before. It may not have appeared in that exact form, but I promise you have. And I need to take that into account when I go into my 20s because I don't want to do the same thing. That is literally the definition of insanity. You know what I mean? That's why people say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Like, no. It's scary, but I'm excited too. Because it's so new, even though it's not that new. It feels new. It feels like an opportunity to start again. I don't know if it is, but God, hopefully. Hopefully. I'm currently back in Boston, and going back and forth between Boston and Atlanta honestly is so weird because it reminds me of my childhood in the same sense reminds me of a future of possibilities. When I come back home, I'm like, this is my home, these are my family, this is where I live, like this is what I grew up with, this is the person that I was. But at the same time, I'm seeing my city in a new light. Almost like the concept of social mobility, but it's very interpersonal in terms of who do I want to be in this space now? When I'm in Atlanta, the same thing applies, except it's the reverse. I'm seeing a city with endless possibility. I'm in my collegiate journey. I'm becoming the person I know I want to be. I am the person I want to be. But I'm like, how do I not forget who I was? And how do I use who I was before to enhance who I am in the present, who I am now? I don't know. I'm not getting old. I mean, I am getting older, but I'm not old. I need to stop with that. Like, I'm still really young, and I know I don't have to have it all figured out, but I feel like I have to have it all figured out. And I just hope that I take each and every day, because really that's all I can do. If you've gained something from hearing this yap, please feel free to share. If not, that's okay. This wasn't the most profound conversation I've had with myself. And in part, it's because I already deep dived into this conversation with myself, and all the sources I would have cited in terms of intellectualizing a conversation like this are now out the window because I've already sat and processed this. But I will be more present in future videos and more nuanced. But I want to start somewhere. So this is where I'm starting. And I'm sort of a perfectionist in many regards. So I'm going to accept that this wasn't perfect, but that it is something. And it's okay to be proud of that milestone. I think my 20s, I'm going to hit a lot of milestones, and I don't want to take any of them for granted. I think that's what aging is all about: gratefulness and faith, and just appreciating the journey. So, yeah, welcome to episode 1, all about aging, the art of aging. I don't know it all. I'm listening to a woman like Tracy Ellis Ross, who's now 50, tell her younger self, who's older than me, that she's still young. I wonder what my insight will look like in a couple years from now. But I don't want to wonder too much, because I want to sit with who I am now and appreciate her. And that's all I can do. So, yeah. If you liked this video, obviously, not to be cliche, but like, subscribe, share, and you're gonna see a lot more of these. We're gonna touch on more profound philosophical, sociological concepts, because that's my niche. I like history, I like literature, I like understanding the why of people, and I like processing my own thoughts about them, about these concepts. So let's do it together. Let's do it together. Oh, why are we blurry though? Why are we blurry though? Why are we blurry though? Lock in, focus here. Focus here. No, foreground, background. Foreground, background.